Hey guys, this is God of Politics. Welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, I'm going to be doing my prediction for the South Carolina primaries, which are tomorrow, Saturday, February 29th. The current date is Friday, February 28th. I'm recording this video at around 9 p.m. Eastern Time, which is just under a day before the polls close in South Carolina, and we will hopefully have a smooth process of counting the votes, unlike we did in Iowa. Both Iowa and Nevada. Iowa was more of a disaster than Nevada was, but they were both pretty bad. New Hampshire was a bit better, so hopefully South Carolina can learn its lesson, as well as the fact that it's a primary, so it should be a bit better generally. So I'll be doing my prediction based on the popular vote, the raw vote on the first ballot, and then I'll be doing my prediction of how that will equate to the number of national delegates. Currently, we can see here Bernie Sanders has 45, Buttigieg is in second with 25, Joe Biden is in third with 15, and then Klobuchar is in. Oh, we also have Warren at 8 and Klobuchar at 7, and then those are the only people that have any delegates currently. Looking at the polls here, we saw that in Iowa the polls were off. They overestimated Biden, underestimated Klobuchar. Same thing in New Hampshire. They overestimated Bernie, underestimated Pete and Klobuchar. But in Nevada, the polls were generally right. They were pretty much spot on in terms of the first ballot. In terms of the delegates, they weren't right, but that's not what they were measuring. They were measuring the first ballot, which was actually correct in terms of this, pretty much spot on. So looking at the South Carolina polls here, we see Biden maintained a healthy lead of around 20 points ahead of Warren for most of the time, and then Bernie started to spike up. Steyer was in second for a time. But after Iowa and New Hampshire, Biden began to decline heavily. It went from 35% to a low of 23.3%. But ever since his strong performance in Nevada, where he came second place above most of the odds, had him saying he could come in fourth, fifth place maybe, like he did in New Hampshire. But after the debate performance that he had in South Carolina, which many consider to be his best debate, he had a good performance even compared to everybody else like Bernie, who was attacked most of the entire night. Usually that was Biden, but that night, it was Bernie, and he did well in Nevada. So he was at 23.3% February 22nd, which was last Friday, and then he started to climb back up, and he is now all the way at 36.8% with a 12.5 percentage point lead. So they're basically predicting that Biden is going to have a strong victory here. We see Buttigieg been going up a little bit, Steyer been going down a little bit, Warren been going down, Klobuchar is pretty much staying the same, and Bernie pretty much. I mean, he's been going up as well, but yeah. So we'll do the first ballot, the raw vote, how the original raw vote is going to be. I believe Biden will win with a healthy margin. I think he'll get I think he'll win by around 13, 14 percentage points. Warren will get, I mean, she did well enough in both of the debates that she'll get some of the vote, but not as much as Pete. Um, Klobuchar won't do very well here. It's not our kind of state. And Steyer will actually get 6, which isn't doing as well as they say he will. They say Steyer will be at 12.8, but I think a lot of that vote, or at least some of that vote, will go back to Joe Biden that it had been before. As we can see, Steyer went up a little bit when Biden went down, and a lot of that vote may go back. I think Biden attacked him on the private prisons and everything. So in terms of that, this obviously the delegate number is not how it equates to the actual map, but Bernie would retain his lead and Biden would go into second place. This is in terms of the popular vote, but if we go in terms of how I think the delegate vote is going to go, let's put all of these back at 0. The delegate vote, I think Biden is going to win a larger share of the delegate vote because remember, you need 50% of the delegates to 15%. You need a 15% threshold to be able to get any delegates. And if you're not able to reach the 15% threshold, I think it's by congressional district. So if you can get 15% threshold in one congressional district, you will get delegates even if you don't get 15% overall. That is the strategy Pete Buttigieg has been trying to do in many of the Super Tuesday states and in South Carolina as well, which is giving him at least some momentum. I'm not sure how much it'll help him, only getting 11% of the vote as I just predicted, but that's the campaign strategy he's been using. So it is by congressional district. So even if they don't get 15% overall, they still could get some delegates. But in terms of the delegates, we'll fill it out. I think Biden will win the delegate count by a lot. I think he'll get 32 delegates out of 54. Bernie will get 20. I don't think Warren's going to get any. I think Pete will get one delegate because of the fact I predicted him to get 11.11% of the vote. He might get in one congressional district to get a delegate, and I believe Steyer would also get one, and also one more to Bernie. So that has Biden at 59% of the delegates with 32, Bernie in second place, 22 points behind with 20. We saw what happened in Nevada was Bernie was ahead by about 16 points in terms of the polls, I think, and he did win by 16% or something on the first ballot, but then you saw that much of the second ballot vote went to him, and he was therefore able to gain a lot in terms of the delegate number. And obviously, the whole 15% here will wipe out a lot of the moderates that got at least some of the vote. Like Pete's support will go away, Klobuchar's support will go away, and then it'll just be amongst the candidates that got 15%. This isn't a caucus, so it's a private voting, just counting up the things. But of the candidates who got 15%, Biden will make up a large majority of that because he won by 13 points in terms of the popular vote. So in terms of the delegate count, he will win by 22 points, in my opinion. And don't pay attention to the margins with the candidates who got one delegate. I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue here because it's just going to be negligible. But I think at this point, Gabbard, Klobuchar, Warren, Steyer, Buttigieg even should all drop out at this point. I don't really think there's much point of them being in this race anymore. But I think they will all stay till Super Tuesday because it is, 3 days after it. It's on Tuesday. South Carolina's on Saturday. So I think all the candidates will stay following Super Tuesday. But I think following Super Tuesday, you will see Gabbard drop out. Steyer will drop out. Klobuchar will probably drop out if Minnesota she doesn't win it. Buttigieg might drop out. Warren could even drop out. And then you might see it become a three-way race between Biden, Sanders, and Bloomberg. Bloomberg might not even get knocked up here with all the momentum that Biden might be able to gain from winning the state of South Carolina. I think that's going to be very crucial for him because it'll be interesting to see how much momentum he is able to get. I think it will give him a big boost. It'll make him be able to win Super Tuesday states like Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Virginia, North Carolina, those kind of states, whereas Bernie will probably still end up winning California and Texas due to the splitting of the vote between Bloomberg and Biden, as well as Bernie's momentum from the other states that he was able to win. But yes, this is my prediction here. I have Biden winning by a very large margin in terms of delegates and the popular vote, larger than I think most people are predicting. Some people are even predicting Bernie Sanders win, which I think is very unlikely. I think Biden has the momentum on his side, and he's going to win by a very large margin. Looking at the total delegate count here, we have Sanders at 65, Biden at 47, Buttigieg at 26 and third, Warren at 8, Klobuchar at 7, Steyer at 1. So it'll basically become a three-person race, in my opinion, between Bloomberg, Sanders, and Biden, and then Biden or Bloomberg. One of them might drop out early. We'll see how it goes on Super Tuesday. I'll be doing a prediction for that as well. But yeah, this is my prediction for the South Carolina primary. It could be completely wrong. It could be right. We'll see. So stay tuned for tomorrow. I'll be making a video of it as well. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe as always, and I'll see you guys later.